Welcome back to a Pontiac video.
New plates arrived. So Aaron, I remember in your first video when you did the walk around, like 60 videos ago, about is this car going to get a name? Well, I think it finally did. So we're going to put these new plates on that showed up in the DMV. This will be on today's agenda. And as we get ready to think about putting the motor back in here, Tix asked, she said, well, do you have gaskets? I'm like, I don't know. Do you have clamps for the exhaust? I'm like, I don't know. So I think today's going to be about taking an inventory of all the last minute things that we need to get so we can figure out the right way to get everything put back together when it goes
It's
in.
cheaper and easier to pre-order stuff than it is to have to overnight it.
Or scurry out to parts store.
15 part stores and hope.
We've done that before.
Well, everybody does because you don't know the unknowns. So, ShopDog says, I agree with Mushka's dog sled here.
Dog sled.
So, there. She's got a name. Doug says, work smarter, not harder. He was bending over to change those plates. And then it's like, hey, wait a minute. Why don't you just put those plates up where they're right and convenient? Nice and simple. We have a button for that. That's about as important as something can get. To our surprise, it's actually 2 1/4 inch, not 2 inch on the OD. So now he knows what to get there. He's going to get new donuts. And yeah, we know there's rust in the pipes. These pipes are only just to get it running and tested. And then it's going to go in and get a full custom new exhaust. He's just going to take a quick check to see what's what on our current exhaust pipe. You can see it was not the prettiest job. So this is new. This is the original stuff here, or a original piece. You really see it on the driver's side. So you can see it's pretty bad. I think most of our rust problems are going to be on this driver's downpipe.
There was a hole somewhere on the driver's side. Oh yeah. Well yeah.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
one. Like that one right there.
Yes, that one. So, like I said, that'll get cleaned up and welded for now. And then when we have a driving car that we feel comfortable with, we'll take it down and have Ozzy, the muffler man, make some new pipes. These aren't the actual band clamps we're going to use because these are obviously for 3-inch pipe. But this will show the idea because of how we'd cut them. Yeah, so we can get 2 1/4, and we will. But see, when we hang the old pipe back up and we made them up, we can just put that in. That'll hold it good enough. We're not going to weld these together. They're not going to be on that long. And this is a nice, simple way to do it. Because if you recall... Oh, there we go. Cut them to get all those tubes out of our way while we were working. And that'll be easy to get at. Okay, so here is the bad part. We don't like it. It's just temporary. Obviously, they tried to clearance around something and didn't do a good job there. This weld is terrible, but the problem that we see is this is the pipe they added the O2 bung to, so it's right here. So, as we all know, if you're getting pirate air or measuring outside air or losing anything, you're gonna read lean. And she's going to keep dumping fuel, which obviously she did. I mean, look inside this pipe. It is just black as night. It was rich. So, yeah, you can even see the hole here. So, I think that's the only hole we have to deal with. The one right here we can live with because the gasket will kind of hide that. So, we're not too worried about that. But, yeah, we're going to clean it up and see if we can booger weld this enough. Like I said, it just has to get to the exhaust shop. Dog's losing his mind. He heard some tinkle tinkles, so I bet neighbor Jeff was at the gate. He's hearing some tinkle tinkles. So let's go see. Let's go see if our buddy is here or if someone's up at the house. Let's find out. It is. There he is. Hey. So that's cleaning up. Now, there's nothing we're going to be able to do about the inside. Okay, tell me when you're recording.
Recording now.
Oh, okay. Well, we know this is going to be some booger welds. This is very thin. It's like paper. It's all rusty. There's carbon on the inside. Doesn't have to be pretty. Just has to hold up. So we're about to take a couple experimental tacks to see what we need. So I've got the wire speed up a little bit, trying to fill in, and we're going to actually go very low on my power. It's not a fancy welder. I get 4 settings. We're going to go thin, going to hit a couple tacks, see what happens, see if we're even getting a decent enough ground, and from there we can decide how we're going to weld that. So let me just grab a couple tacks. So yeah, so that is bonding in, it is melting. See how it's not a big bead? It did flow in. So low power is probably plenty enough here. If I just start here and try to weld around, that's gonna warp and crack even more. I need to just kind of do a tack and a tack and a tack and a tack and a tack. So this isn't gonna be stacked nickels. This is just gonna be a few tacks to kind of hold it together. If we were really worried about longevity, we'd even drill a hole here and a hole here to keep it from, because you know it is under stress right here. You can see the stress fracture, but I think we're just going to tack all around it. It has to last like 40 miles. Okay, and then I'm gonna find a wire brush her off real quick, see how we're doing, and then we'll come back. Now, like we said, this is all booger welding. Clean some of that off, and see, we're just tacking and tacking and tacking and building it up and tacking, and then we'll grind it down a little bit later. I'm just looking for, like, there's a hole right there, so I'll tack that, and then we'll come over the peak and we'll start tacking around, tacking around, tacking around, just to kind of get it all together. You know, I'm no welder and I don't play one on TV, but I can play hot glue, and that's basically all this is. It's just a hot glue gun. Okay, so there isn't a whole lot left hole-wise. You can see one there. When we ground it down here, you know, just to knock off some of the high peaks on the boogers, you can see I've still got to finish here, and I think I'll weld it down and up to give it a little more strength. And I think I want to puddle it along here and a little bit on the other side, but it should be good enough for 40 miles. Okay, so basically what we're doing now is, remember we made that little bridge of weld. Now we're starting to move that bridge out into the metal that's more solid, you know, solid in quotes. I mean, none of this is very solid. I think I could smack it with a hammer and poke a hole in it. We just need it to hold exhaust. So see, there's definitely still a hole here. So now I will take the weld and bring it in and try to arc across that and make a little puddle, and that should help quite a bit. There. Also, wear your gloves. Those freaking sparks are hot. We'll call this episode How Not to Weld.
There you go.
You're on?
You're on.
Okay, so we just did a quick cleanup just to check, little light check. We're sealed, but I still want to deal with this potential stress riser here that was cracked, and there was still a crack here that I want to address. And now we're just adding strength. It's ugly, I know, it's not going to be pretty. You can hear when I hit actual weld instead of this rusty metal. It sounds pretty. Okay. Alright. So, I think that's going to put us in our ballpark here. Like I said before, it's not pretty, but it won't leak. So I'll grind that down in a minute. We're not going to worry about this flange. The donut will take care of that. So, there. That's how not to weld. And remembering that grinding is a part of welding when you suck at welding, I think I've welded one pinhole in. So when I look through here, I can see a teeny hole. So what I'm going to do to locate it is when I hit it with the Sharpie, it'll go away. And then I'll know exactly, oh yeah, and don't forget, it's very hot. It is right there. Yep, so I've got a piece of slag right there. I will weld that in. Do one more grind, and as long as the collar slides over it, we're not going to get too crazy on the grinding. Yeah, remember the time when Pixie was welding the bung for Sweet Pea?
I pulled that picture out.
You can make a whole exhaust pipe out of weld if you're patient.
Yeah, I almost pulled that picture out and put it in that frame. I saw it, and I'm like, no. The gas tank one was better.
Hey, no more leaks. I could grind that smoother. I'm not going to. That's just begging for trouble. It's down enough that I could see. No more leaks. If this was a car that was going to be this way for a long time, we would hit it with some high temp paint. It's not. It doesn't have to last that long. So it's probably going to get just paint. It'll burn off. It's not going to hurt anything. So, yeah, once again, how not to weld. All right, tell them what we're doing.
Oh, yeah, so that hole that gets...
Yeah, I know. It's great having the tripod until you need it to move.
Well, yeah. Anyway, so this hole here that we weren't going to weld up, where the flange goes down, it's actually, it's down the flange.
Even with the donut, it may leak. Yeah. We're just going to do a couple tack bridges on it, grind it down as smooth as we can, call it good. So,
the grinding on this one's going to be important to get that thing to seal up.
This one has to be brown, yes. I'm going to turn the wire speed back down a little bit. I'm going to put my gloves back on. I know we all mentioned that. This stuff gets a little sparky hot. I don't understand those welders that you see on the YouTubes. And they don't have a helmet, they don't have gloves, they just
look away and start pressing.
Oh, yeah. I guess I just don't have that kind of timing in my life to get that good. We're down to one tiny pinhole. So, that should have been it. There, I think that's going to seal up pretty good. So I've just got to pull it, clean this lip, you know, where the donut seals to the manifold, and we'll call this good enough. Okay, going to show you how this cleaned up. So I've been sitting here with a round file. So I think that'll seal. And then you can look down there and you can actually see where we were welding down there. Well, maybe you can. Maybe I can. So, I think that'll do the job for now until Ozzy can make a new one. I was just digging through stuff trying to figure it out. So, we dug out the starter and the tranny lines for the cooler and remembered how they go. Yeah, not the typical Chevrolet way. So, we got that all sorted out. Obviously, we got to pull out the torque converter and kind of go through it. Dump it out and flush it a few times. Never a bad idea. Not sure where the lawnmower blades go on this car, so that ought to be interesting.
They go right in the center. So
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Clean the yard. Yes, exactly. The starter, we happen to know that a 389 Pontiac starter is not going to be as inexpensive as a small block Chevy, so it's probably worth it for us to clean this one up. It's a service item. You know, if we have trouble with it, we can change it downstream. Not a big deal. You know, it's 2 bolts and a couple wires. Oh, and a hanger that went to the motor mount, if I recall. So, we'll get that cleaned up. We're just trying to make sure that when it is time to put the motor in, we know what's what and we're not waiting 3 weeks. The other big thing I've got to do really soon is clean up. Oh, God, you can't even see it anymore. The firewall for the fuse box. I've got them somewhere. If you recall, we harvested the firewall adapter or for the bulkhead off of one of these harnesses. So somewhere around here, I've still got the factory ones, and I've got to de-pin them and clean them up and get ready to build. Oh, there. I believe that might be one of them right there. Nope, that's the other end. I had harvested a couple of these, so this is the other end. But the end that plugs or you know, the light harness and the engine harness that plug in here. Got to build those up. Got to find them, clean them up. That's not going to be very fun. Never is. They put this black goo in there, and it takes a little time. So just going through. I think Pixie is back here cleaning, and I think Kevin was actually polishing some trim on the back here. Yep, she's slowly taking Chief Pontiac away. Yeah. You know, he doesn't fit modern times, and they don't even want to deal with that. You know, in the world today, people will stop you.
I'm not part Indian.
Yeah, exactly, and it's not a fight any of us are willing to fight. ShopDog's snoozy.
So after some internet searches and that, I am using a microfiber cloth with lacquer thinner on it. Test the spot before you do this to make for certain there is a good clear coat on. The lacquer thinner will not affect the clear coat. So putting that on, you hold it down, try to keep as much just on the paint that you want to remove, and then rub it. This seems to be really thick, so after I do that and I kind of rub through, I take rubbing compound, and then I'm kind of running through the rubbing compound, and then that is helping to buff everything off.
So when you're done, are you going to rub it out in to feather it? Mm-hmm. So perfect. Yeah. Well, not only do you not want to deal with the comments or anything, it doesn't really fit the vibe of the car anyway. So,
if it was a dog, it'd be a different word.
Oh, yeah. Had that been a dog. So, here is one of what we had added to the fuse box in this car. Here is how that mates. I can't find the other harness for this one, so I'm going to have to dig out this one. You can see this one had some corrosion issues, but it won't matter. So, see all this black dum-dum silicone-y stuff? That's all got to come off of there. All these got to get depinned. And then, I need to make sure I have enough of these guys when I build the harness. I may have to get another order in. I sure wish I knew where this one was. It'll turn up, but I have obviously I have a spare one of these, and I'd like to keep a set. They're handy. It just dawned on me that I don't know that I've ever shown how to harvest this style connector. I know I've shown you this end, but these, I hope this is in frame. I guess I'll take a look. Okay, so when this goes in, this is the lock right here. So to get them out, you just collapse that straight back in, and then, you know, well, these, because they're glued, you got to yank them out, but then it can come out. So if I tried to install this now, it would go in and be easy to pull back out. To reuse them, you just got to bend that back out. Oh, I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see. There, let's grab an easier one to see here. So you bend this guy back out, because this is the lock, and you want it in plane right here. So, to do these, oh, and notice, this one's a different size. Definitely notice that when you're going to build these. So I will be ordering, because I know I don't have a 59 size on these male terminals. So see, I just collapsed that in, and because of the goop, I'm just gonna slowly yank it out. And see, if I wanted to pop it back in, just do that, and I'd put it back in. So repinning these isn't terrible. The problem you always come into when you're crimping them or popping them in is they'll curve in one of these planes. So you'll look in here and, you know, they'll be at this angle or that angle or whatever. So you got to get them all perfectly nice and straight the first time you go to mate everything. And unfortunately, there just isn't a good way to do this. I just keep picking at it, pulling, picking, pulling, you know, just pulling that crap out. It's very sticky, it's very rubbery, you know, just getting it out. It just takes time. It's like that's all the way down into that one. I hope you guys are seeing that. If not, you know, see how you can see through some of them, but not all of them. So we'll just keep picking at it. You know, I don't really have a better solution. All right, so pretending that this is the one that's in the car, the way these go together is, you gotta pop that apart a little bit. You have a light harness and an engine harness, and you can tell which one's the engine harness because it has the large 59 series for the power in. So the light harness plugs into it, you pop them together, and then you go, oh, it doesn't fit. It's because it's keyed. So you can't even screw that up. So that'll go in, that bolt gets tightened in, draws it, and that's it. It's really nice because that means that these two harnesses can be broke apart and built separately. And I just heard somebody say, wow, so we're gonna go take a look and see what we see here. Hey, no Indian. That looks pretty good, actually. Yeah. And you haven't even polished it out yet. Yeah, that looks great. Yep. It looks like it's supposed to look. All right, what are you guys up to over here? Holy moly, look at all of that.
So all we want to do is just paint the inside of this black again. And boy, we had to tape everything off.
Are you then going to do just the light sand across, or how are you going to clean it?
We're going to do it with this.
Oh, wipe it wet.
Straight off.
Yep. Well,
that's the way to do it.
All right.
We'll see how well
Wish
it
me
works.
luck.
Yeah, I wish you guys the best of luck.
Painted black satin.
Well, like you said, you can get one of these strips for less than $1,500.
Yeah, they're out there on eBay.
Just asked for an opinion, so let's see what we got here. There we go. And then once it dries, you're doing one more?
Yeah, I think we're going to do one more. We're going to have to come up here on this edge and clean it.
Well, you're going to be cleaning no matter what. There's always something.
Yeah, interesting.
But that's what magic erasers are for.
Getting right in there with that. That's a hard edge versus that being a soft edge. That's going to be a little more challenging. Yeah, magic eraser is going to make it work.
Yeah, magic eraser is your friend.
Yeah, I think we'll go one more coat on this.
Okay.
Let it tack up a little bit before you wipe it down. That's what we learned on this one.
Just like that. That looks a lot better than it did. So now they're not trying to correct any of the pops that happen over time because it is just cast pot metal. But that is going to look so much nicer. And the best part is no one's going to realize it. And that's what we're trying to do here on the dog sled. Shop Dog, he's exhausted. He needs ice cream. So at this point, we're starting to clean up a little bit, getting ready to call it a day. Can't get over how much different this looks. Absolute night and day difference. So got that taken care of. He's starting to look at a little cleanup on this header panel here. So he's thinking about cleaning that up. But other than that, I think that's all we're going to get done today. We've got a list of things to order. I've got some terminals to order. He's got some gaskets and things to order. So, with that being said, and Shop Dog saying he wants to go get some ice cream. Hey guys, what do we say?
Thanks for watching.